Good morning, folks. Papa Joe here. I want to talk a little bit about the drivers or wannabe drivers, the people that keep asking me about if they can make a decent living out here. You know, can they make good money? And however else they wanted to word it. Let me get started on my coffee. Now I've addressed it in a couple different ways. I've explained that it depends upon what you call decent money. You know, it depends upon what kind of money you need to make. What I want to touch on today is I want to bring your attention to a little bit of history. And no, I don't have exact numbers and all that nonsense. If you're one of them that want to have exact numbers, look it up. I ain't looking it up for you because I already know that what I say is truthful, and I'm close enough to know I don't need numbers. You know, 40 and 50 years ago, we was a thriving country. Business was thriving. They was growing. As they grew, they shared the wealth with their workers. The workers were doing pretty damn good. And they was building retirement. They was making enough money they could set money aside for their retirement, the kids' college, and all that. There's a few of us that remember when some parents could actually afford to pay for their kids' college. Well, one thing, cost of college has got so stupid. I have a son that works for a college, and you can go online and bring up their pay. And some of the money that they pay is ridiculous. The football coach actually makes more than the head of the college where he's working. That might not be the case in every college, but I bet he's right up there beside him. Why? Why is football so important that a college football coach can make all but a 7-figure salary? That's crazy to me. I'm sorry. That's crazy. Making $10,000 a week or more? Really? Really? Well, I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon and go blaming the 1%ers and all that. You know, that they've gotten greedy and they're stealing all the money and blah, blah, blah. Now, they have gotten greedy. More greedy. I'm not going to necessarily blame that on them. That's more in the investment line of it. I know enough about business to know that the company has to show their shareholders a profit. If you're doing good, why the hell do you need the shareholders? But what it boils down to is the companies used to bring the workers along with them. As they grew, so did their package that they offered their workers. And all was good. The wealth was shared, and they shared it with their workers shared it with our economy. It don't work like that no more. As I've told you before, I was a prison guard for, I don't know, like 4 years. And in the state of Missouri. During that time, we only got 2 cost of living increases. And it wasn't much. The insurance that we was allowed was owned and ran by the state. And when we got our cost of living increase, insurance went up. So let's say we got 3%. I don't remember exactly. Cost of insurance went up and took up like 2.5%. That didn't leave us much to go home with. It basically left us enough to pay the taxes on what the insurance stole, on what the state stole. I tried one of them truck leasing deals that I'm always warning y'all about, which is one of the reasons that I can speak on such things, is because I have experienced it. I have tried it firsthand. This in particular company I'm going to speak about was called Buell, B-U-E-L. They're out of the Carolinas. They have the little blue footprints on the back door of the trailer. I drove for them for over a year, and I was doing okay, living paycheck to paycheck. They decided they was going to go up like a nickel, maybe 10 cents, I don't remember, on their rate fees. Well, cool. I'm paying all expenses, all repairs, all diesel. I'm paying for everything. So yeah, I could use a nickel increase. And I think it was a nickel. And I'm going to work off that. So I was in the office doing my settlement stuff, getting ready to go on the next run, and I'm talking to the general manager. And I told her, I said, well, that's awesome y'all decided to go up on the rates. I can damn sure use the extra money. And she tells me that the way it's going to break down is that out of that 5%, 1% of it's going to the tire funds and all that. Okay. Cost of that's going up too. I'm good with that. 3% of that is going to the company, leaving us 1%, or a penny. I was talking penny there, not percentage. I was misspoken on my part. So I asked her, I said, why in the world are y'all getting 3 cents a mile out of that 5? And she informed me it was because of the cost of reefer fuel. They had to pay for reefer fuel. You wouldn't believe how much money we put into reefer fuel. And I said, yes, I would. Not only am I the one pumping it, I'm the one paying for the diesel for that truck. You wouldn't believe how much money I put into them tanks to push that reefer down the road. She didn't want to hear it. So we got a penny out of a nickel. That's 20%. Really? That's the mentality of them anymore. In trucking, I would make anywhere from $600 to $800 a week regularly. Now the cost of everything has more than doubled since I started driving. With this company, I'm making like 42 or 43 cents. My pay ain't doubled. Cost everything else has gone up. This company can afford to grow. They're buying more trucks. They're building on their property. But they're not bringing us along. They're looking at paying us according to the national average. Now, what's wrong with this picture? I would hate to think how much the cost of living has actually gone up in 25 plus years that I've been out here. Yeah, my wages ain't went up nowhere near that. Now, I make okay money. I make almost decent money. But I'm still only making enough to pay my bills. Basically, paycheck to paycheck. So as a nation, we haven't kept up with the cost of living. The profits that should be being made is staying in someone else's pocket. Some of it go to the 1%ers. A majority of it goes to the government. Since they passed this recent tax bill, when a company can now afford to give out $1,000 bonuses to their employees and raises, that tells you that our government was stealing a lot. And yes, I consider it stealing. So on them points, the companies are attempting to be fair. That leaves you to wonder, how much of it is the 1%ers keeping the lion's share of the profits, and how much of it is the government stealing it? Either way that it goes, it's not in my pocket. Is it in yours? People used to be able to save money. Can you now? They used to be able to put their kids through college. Can you now? They used to be able to put their kids through college and still have money left over for their retirement. Can you now? And that's not just in the trucking industry. So can you make a decent living out here? Once you get your feet wet, get your ears dry, yeah, you can do okay. If you're on top of your game and you work it, you figure out what you need to do, where you need to go, yeah, you can still take care of your family. Are you going to get rich? No. They won't let you get rich. They don't want you to do much more than pay your bills. Because if you're making too much money, you're going to actually want some time off. And if you take that time off, their truck's not rolling. If their truck's not rolling, it ain't making them money. And that's what it's all about. Keeps trucks rolling. Make company money. That's why in some of my videos where you hear me talking about companies, and I tell you that if they tell you how they're family oriented and all that, they're full of crap. Only family they're worried about is their family. They ain't worried about mine or yours. I don't care what they say. They're worried about this truck rolling. Getting every mile out of you that they can. And they're going to keep all that they can. They're not going to give up any more money to a driver than it takes to keep the majority of them. Why do you think they have such high turnover rates? You talk to any of the companies and they'll tell you how there's a driver shortage. No, there ain't. There's a pay shortage. If y'all would take care of us drivers like you should, take care of us like you do your office people or your CEO, and you might not have a driver shortage. There's plenty of drivers. Your pay ain't there to keep them. If you can't retain them, then that's your fault. And instead of working to retain the drivers, you want to work off of the national average. Damn the national average. Why do you want the driver to work off the national average, but you want to be above national average on your earnings? Then why shouldn't that driver be above average on his national earnings? So the whole mentality in our nation has changed. The way we take care of our employees has changed. The way the company looks at the employees has changed. So, yeah, you make a living. They leave you that. They've got to, or they won't keep nobody. But what about beyond a living? So if you're going to come out here and expect to make a living, come out and get your 2 or 3 years experience. And then start doing your homework. There are some companies out here that take care of their drivers right. The problem with that is when you find one of them companies, there's usually a waiting line. And rightfully so. Because the drivers that have been there for a long time, they're trying to get their brother, their brother-in-law, their sister-in-law, or whoever. And the company would be foolish to hire you or I off the street blind when they have this good driver over here that's been with them for 12 years that's telling them, hey, oh, Joe Smith over here is pretty damn good. You ought to eyeball him. So they done got a personal reference from a good driver. It's just how it is. That's how our country has gone. Would I like to see a change? Yeah. Am I going to sit here and toot the Trump horn and say he's going to change it? No. I think he'll try. But I think that's too big of an apple for him to peel. He can only do so much. But that's my thoughts on it. Y'all remember, God loves you, so do I. The trucking industry, you're just another piece of equipment. You're a necessary evil. So no, you're not going to come out here and get rich. This ain't the movies. This is reality. And not reality TV. It's reality. Y'all have a blessed day. Be careful out there. Bye.